big launch is coming up later this year. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. Anyone here planning on getting one at launch? I had my heart set on one of the two. I've been saving up for the past year. I guess my three big concerns going into this next gen. One, the cost of these consoles. They've both been holding out really long, like the absolute latest, and I think there's two reasons. One, I think that the one is they're both trying to see who blinks first, and then the other one's gonna undercut them. Two, I think they're both gonna be really expensive. Like north of $500 US expensive. And it's a lot. And I know I want both eventually. I don't think I can justify both right now. And at this point, with the news of the NVIDIA 30 series stuff, like, I don't know if I can justify either. If I can get like a 3070, throw that in here, then I've got a PC that is similar in power spec, like maybe not all the way there, but similar to an Xbox Series X and a PS5, and I can just play games on that, and I get the streaming benefits too. I don't know. So there's that. The other big concern for me is like game prices, and the whole, like, Call of Duty has announced it's going to be $70 US. NBA 2K's announced it's going to be $70 US on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and I don't like the idea of these games being bumped up in price going forward. And it's a double whammy for Canadians. At the start of the PS3 or PS4 Xbox One generation, prices went from $60 to $80, and I largely stopped buying AAA games at that point because I just can't afford them. And if that bump, the US bump, happens, like, game prices will come up here too, and all of a sudden games are gonna be like over $100 each, and the fact that it's crossing the triple-digit barrier is such a huge such a huge barrier financially and mentally that I'm not sure I'm ready to make that jump. Like, yes, we're in a place where we have lots of great indie games like a Stardew Valley, lots of stuff goes on sale all the time, but if I want to play the hot new console and take advantage of all the hardware, and it's gonna cost me like $100 a pop for a game, like, oh, not looking forward to that part. No. That green dude said, if Gran Turismo 7 and Ratchet and Clank are indeed launch titles, then it's day one because I'm weak. I mean, when I saw the Ratchet and Clank thing in particular, when they say launch window, I think that intentionally mean, like, I know they mean it could come out between this time and this time, with this being the, here on your screen, this being the start launch and this being like sometime after that. I think when they say launch window, they mean somewhere around here, but not here. Otherwise, I think they would have said launch at this point. So my gut says in the first 3-ish months, Ratchet and Clank will be out. And I will say, of all the things that we've seen of Xbox Series X and PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 5 stuff, Ratchet and Clank is the one that I'm most interested in. Not because I've never actually played a Ratchet and Clank game, but that so far has been the one game where they've shown that tech where you're instantly teleporting different places and the worlds are updating. Like, that couldn't have been done last gen, and because they're doing it now, like, okay, that is the reason, that is a reason to upgrade the hardware more than just here are prettier pictures. Wait, the game price is going to be $70 US? I mean, inflation alone, the prices shouldn't have stayed at $60 for that long, TBH. See, that's a yeah, Call of Duty and NBA 2K are going up to $70. And yes, someone can make a case that game prices shouldn't have stayed at $60 to begin with. Especially with, yeah, once you move to HD and the cost of these games got really expensive and so on and so forth. But yeah, if it was like, for me, if it was going from 60 to 80 now, that's one thing, or 60 to 70. But now we're getting into like 90 plus after the conversion. after eating like 20% going forward, like I can't. I don't think I can keep up. And Jenna says, I don't know, I'm on the fence, been considering gaming PC for so long. It might be the time, though. Like, PC gaming is not necessarily cheap either. Someone's gonna tell you like, oh, you're gonna get like all this great horsepower, and it's not that bad, and like think of the possibilities, and you can stream on it too. Like, this thing is not the most cutting edge PC. There's some pretty beefy stuff in there. Like, this is still like $2,000 of stuff. Are you ready for something like that? And you could probably game on something lesser than this too, but that's always been the hurdle for me. Well, one of the hurdles for me is like PC gaming is so expensive up front, and if you want to keep up with like graphic cards and stuff too, like the idea of spending $500 to $1,000 on just like the graphics card, ugh. And Jenna said, or here we go, you're worried about Gran Turismo 7? Hold on, I have to wait until my PS4 becomes completely obsolete. You might have some more time on that. You might have some more time with the way that Microsoft and Sony have been talking, especially Microsoft, and how they want to keep supporting both platforms for at least the first few years until people are ready to jump over to the next gen. So you might be able to hold out a little longer. Green Dude says, I'm worried about Gran Turismo 7, not about if it'll be bad or not. I just know that my life will be consumed by it. I never really got into those games, but I understand what can happen when you get fully absorbed into a game. Cowface, I almost never buy AAA titles at launch anyways. Animal Crossing was the first exception in a while. It was the same for me too. And it was because, like, I didn't pre-order or anything. I didn't want to go to a store because it was in the middle of a pandemic. I didn't want to wait for Amazon. So we're just like, yeah, we'll just order it online. And I can probably count on one hand the number of games I've bought at full price this entire generation. I've either waited for it to go on sale, bought indie games, or traded stuff in to lower the price. Jenna says we'll pretty much be... Oh! Amshock, you got it. You got it. Congratulations. You got the shiny Snorlax autograph. You are the second person ever to do it. Air horns up for that. Yeah. I don't know if you... That's very rare. Almost. Yeah, that is one of the Easter eggs of the autograph, is that, yeah, Snorlax autographed something for you guys too. Trying to get the good old... I will say that, like, mathematically speaking, the actual Snorlax is still harder to get than the autograph, but at some point the autograph might actually be rarer. Mildly jealous. Fago's Pirate Robot says there are better sales for PC games, but yeah, the barrier to entry is obviously much higher. Also, welcome, Fago's Pirate Robot. Yeah, you and I have been talking about all the new graphics card stuff and trying to figure out what my next move is game wise. And like, yeah, I don't know if I can justify both getting like a new graphics card and one of those two next gen consoles in the same year, especially when I know I'm gonna get the new, well, the big Stream Deck. That one's a lock. That might be my big streaming purchase at the end of the year, and then something waits. We'll see.